This is a story about a boy and his pet, about who they both are and how they both met. But to tell this tale, we must take a few steps back. Our story begins in a swamp and this shack. The boy and his mother lived all alone. The swamp and the shack was where they called home. People would rarely visit the two. They'd just speak in hushed whispers about what his mama could do. You see, she dabbled in this and she dabbled in that. She'd even been known to chat with a cat. And when anyone needed a change in their luck, they'd trudge through the marsh and they'd trudge through the muck. Then they'd thank her kindly for the gifts and advice. But she'd always warn them, with a gift comes a price. Now excuse me, dear reader, but I must digress, for this is a point that I really must stress. With a gift comes a price, her words ring true. This is the moral I pass on to you. Our tale has a message and a lesson to be learned. To be granted a boon, that boon must be earned. If you don't earn the things that you get, the powers that be will remember your debt. And they'll even things out somehow and some way, maintaining the balance by making you pay. And you cannot haggle on the form of the trade. Only the fates can decide how the fates will be paid. And so, one day while his mama was cooking a stew, the boy grew bored with nothing to do. So he went out back and started to play, climbing a tree, when a tree branch gave way. He slipped and he tumbled and fell to the ground, past all the branches, down, down, down. And when the boy landed, he took such a spill that he didn't get up. He just lay silent and still. When his mother found him, she wanted to cry, to sob and to shout, "Why, oh why?" But she gathered her wits before she could start, and refused to allow her boy to depart. She knew of a secret, she knew just a trick, but for it to work she had to act quick. She grabbed a pouch, some leaves and some brew, and began to recite a spell that she knew. She used the spell to lure his soul back, and summoned it into a small little sack. She placed the bag between his icy cold lips, and sewed them up with some thread and some snips. Then once his spirit was back in its place, he opened his eyes and looked at her face, and smiled at his mama who'd helped him to stay, despite the price she knew that she'd pay. But that joy was cut short as she stumbled and fell. She got very dizzy and wasn't feeling too well. The boy tried hard to wake her. He'd tug and he'd pull, but fate had collected all debts paid in full. The boy was a sharp one and reached for the potion. He grabbed a small pouch and set into motion. He tried to repeat the spell that he'd heard, but his lips were sewn shut. He couldn't utter a word. He just moaned and mumbled and stared at the sky as his mother departed and whispered goodbye.
Tree, a boy silent, motionless, she cried.